what makes it difficult to pick a topic, and it's not like it's I guess the spectrum, or it could be any combination of these two things, and I think it's really like too many choices or too many voices, right? And so what I think about with too many choices, it's like you can literally write a rap about anything, right? And so with that, that's just too many choices, right? When you realize that, okay, I can, whatever I want to write a rap about, I can, then you're like, okay, well, what do I choose? And then you got to figure out how do you narrow it down? And what I'm hearing some folks do here is that, the beat itself can help you narrow it down, right? The beat has a vibe. You get a vibe from the beat. It gives you an idea, a concept. You start playing with it, and then boom, you're in you're in a topic. You're in a subject that's like, all right, I'm going to explore this. And then I'm also hearing that another way to narrow it down is like through the, you get the first line, the first thought that comes to your head, and then you expand on it, and then you start finding little nuggets and jewels in there that you want to string together, and that helps narrow it down. Like, okay, this verse is going to be about this, and not about absolutely everything else it could possibly be. And I think so it's like with too many voices, it's like you can write about anything, but you can't write about everything. So you got to find a way to, narrow it down. I know for me, I tend to narrow down like what I write about through, similar to Jesse in a sense that, though you didn't say these words, like through my values, right? Like what I want to put out into the world, what I want to cultivate within myself, right? So it's through that lens that I often write a lot. And then I'm usually involved in projects where people are asking me to write to a subject or concept, but since they know who I am, they're not asking me to like write about something that's like completely out of my wheelhouse. And then the too many voices piece of it, which is, I think this is the default. I think, let me know if y'all start this way, where it's like too many voices, meaning like you have too many voices in your head saying that you need to write like this or write like that, right? Like I think it's the judgment, right? Like, because that stopped me from writing like in high school, because it's like I'm listening to the music, nothing really resonates with me lyrically. I like how it sounds though, but I don't want to be writing like that. Again, I'm not the thug, I'm not the pimp, I'm not any of that, right? So there's a voice in my head saying, you're not, no one's gonna like it because you're not talking about this. Like, so too many voices, right? Or maybe even if, you start writing, but then you're like, you want people to like what you write. So then it's like, I don't think they're gonna like this. I don't think they're gonna like this, right? Does that resonate for anybody? Like the idea of just like, when you can't choose a topic besides like, okay, I've narrowed it down, but I don't know what to say about this, or I don't know if I could talk about this, like that judgment voice getting in the way.
That happened to me earlier on when I went under my name in high school as Thesis. Like I was still trying to figure stuff out, because I actually was a lot more of a freestyler versus like really writing. So if I felt something, I just went in the booth and like I just started freestyling everything to come up with like the ideas and stuff. But later on, like when some of my homies, like you said, were trying to make like a club song or something else, like I'd be like, or I'd write some of my stuff and I'm like, yo bro, like I don't think people are gonna really mess with this. Like I don't think like they don't care about like what this gonna be said. So like, do you even really want to do this? But that was definitely early on. Now I really don't be having those thoughts. My thoughts would be like, okay, you wrote this? Oh shoot, hey, there's a reference to this. Oh, then it's that right there. Oh, then you could do something like this, then flip it like that, and then see where it goes from here.
It's been a double-edged sword, because to the 2 points that you made earlier, on one end you're negatively talking yourself out of, based on the outsider's perspective, but then you're also trying to curate your bars, from this like inner voice as well, that's like what's good enough to meet the standard and make it out to the pass, kind of like Chef Ramsay's expediting those orders out the kitchen. But I feel like in time you can get to a third voice, which is more so like if you remove the anxiety and the the fear of being whack and all that other stuff, then and having to present yourself a certain way, and just look at it for what it is in its purest art form, which is just lyricism, wordplay. How are you playing with these words?
When I create and I'm in my zone and my genius is being awakened and I'm Jesse the Imaginer.
Over the doubt,
Genius over doubt is just flowing. I'm becoming godlike. I just need to get it out. I write it, I record it, and I'm like, yes, I felt good. It sounds good. But then the thing that's unhealthy that I do, if I'm like, oh, yo, Dez is gonna listen to. Dez just said he listened to this. I'm gonna go back and listen to it and see what I think Desmond might think of this through my projection of what you might think of it.
Through his third eye, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
through his narrator in his mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's like, and then I start critiquing it after the fact.
I feel like if anything, I've learned to overcome that by this point, like not caring what other people think, because it's all subjective about, you know, what people will think of your lyrics and the sound that you bring, and you can't please everyone anyway, so you may as well just do what you do. If you enjoy it, someone else is going to enjoy it.
You know, I mean, when I say like too many voices, I think it's just really like, it's that overthinking, it's that we do in the beginning, especially when, you know, the introduction to the craft is through the people that we admire, right? It's through the, you know, it's through the Lupes, it's through the Kanyes, it's through, you know, for me, Black Thought, it's, you know, it's through these people who've done this journey, and they're at the point where, you know, they're, you know, really confident in their skills, and that's something we gravitate to, and we gravitate to the craft that they're doing as well, and then we don't recognize that, like, this is the journey that we gotta go through. I guess the main thing I would say to anybody who's like struggling with just like picking a topic to write about is just to like, just pick anything. You can pick anything and not everything. So you just literally pick one thing, write about it. And if you like it, cool, write some more about it. And if you don't like it, write about something else. Right? And then and then that voice that keeps creeping in your head, it's like, I don't know if anybody's gonna dig it. Well, you know, you're not writing for anybody else at this particular point, right? You're writing for yourself. Like, once you dig it, as you know, to what the Temple Jordan said, then there's a chance that somebody else will dig it, right? Because you are a person. That's the end of my TED Talk.